Hey guys!
Hi!
We're back!
It's the Lost Stars.
We are the Lost Stars
Yes.
by Jian and
Iris.
yeah, so it's been a while, right? It's been a month since we've last recorded our episode.
Yeah, we've been pretty busy.
Yeah, how have you been, Iris?
I've been pretty good. I got a new job. It's an internship at an international organization, and I'm really loving it.
Yeah, I'm so proud of her. Like, do you remember 2 episodes ago, our very first episodes when we were having an existential crisis about choosing careers, and now this girl is a full-on adult.
Yay!
It's her first full-time job and she's killing it. So
I would say I am still lost.
We're still lost stars. Don't worry.
I am trying to make sense of what I like, what I love doing, and what I'm interested in. Through this podcast, we can share these journey with you and I guess grow.
Yeah,
as
we're
people.
all
Yeah.
evolving together. I don't think, maybe this is not the point to talk about the name of our podcast, but it's not that because we are 20s we're lost. I think everyone is always lost. It's just a matter of where they're heading to. I don't think we could be ever found stars because we don't I've solved life. I hacked life.
Yeah, nobody perfectly has hacked life
has
yet.
a solution to how to live. There's no answer to that. So we'll always be your companion, Lost Stars. Anyways, so today we're going to talk about how to incorporate art in our lives.
Such a fascinating topic.
Courtesy of Iris. So I would like to kind of discuss why we're talking about art today.
I guess we could see ourselves as artistic people, right? We had huge interest in art, and we actually considered incorporating art in our careers. We wanted to do art as a living.
Yeah, we had not only a fascination, but almost like a fantasy, like an idealization of being an artist, living as an artist, as a living,
Right.
So I don't know if you remember, but in our first episode when we were talking about career choices and what to do after graduation, we both, because of our yearning for doing art as a living, we both considered taking a 180 on our career paths and doing something artistic. I think, Iris, what did you want to do?
So my dream in my sophomore year of college was to become an expert in the Islamic architecture of Spain and Morocco. An art historian who would study more about the cultural exchanges that were happening in the Iberian Peninsula and also the North African regions.
But you didn't pursue it because?
I would say I realized at some point that just because I love studying about something doesn't mean that I'll necessarily love doing it as work. So that made me reconsider some options. Yeah.
That's a really fascinating point you made. I would really like to dig deeper into this point, but let's just pinpoint on this idea. And for me, how I wanted to incorporate art in my life was by becoming an actress or, being in the showbiz. But I guess slightly more conventional, I would say, within the realms of academia. An easier path would be to be a UX designer or to work in the design industry.
Right.
Still being in a corporate setting at big techs, consulting firms, etc. But still, it would be art. So, as you can see, there is a wide range of art, which we would dive into later as well.
I actually also considered becoming a graphic designer for mobile applications, and that's why I took a 5-week boot camp program, but it made me realize that I have so many other interests that I would want to pursue. And now I don't really dream about becoming a designer. But even though we're not doing art as a living, we still want to incorporate art in our lives, and that's why we're gonna talk about this.
And maybe because we don't do art as a living, we feel like we need to incorporate it in some different form. You know, going back to Iris's point, what you love to do doesn't necessarily have to be what you do as a living.
Exactly. But do you think there's a difference between artists and non-artists? What distinguishes people who do art as a career and who don't do art as a living?
That's a really interesting question that you raised. As for my observations, you know, if you see people who come from artist backgrounds, like who are raised in artist families, like Timothée Chalamet or Billie Eilish, these two people are both almost like prodigies. They both, Billie, for example, became a Billboard wonder, like a 10-star Grammy Award winner, at the age of like 16, 17, because with her, along with her crazy talented producer brother Phineas, because I know that both of their parents were artists. Like her mother was an actress, I think, and her father was also in the music industry.
So she got her artistic passion from them.
It's less about the passion, but more about what environment they were raised in.
Or talent.
Same with, I think there are so many different factors here. We need to kind of unpack them one by one. I'll just give you another example of Timothée Chalamet, because these two people are like the people that I know are at the top of their game, the top of their industry, but also very young to have already accumulated that amount of success and talent at that age. Timothée Chalamet, I know that also. He went to LaGuardia High School, and he went to a performance high school because I think he had, take a step back. He went to LaGuardia High School because his parents were both in the art history. I know that he grew up in the art district, like the art apartment building in New York, and I think because he was raised in that kind of artistic environment that he decided to go to an arts high school, LaGuardia High School, and then from there he just further made that a default condition to live in.
I feel like just having a background in the arts doesn't necessarily make you an artist. Like, being an artist is a choice, and for a long time I thought it's about taking risks and being brave, because as everyone knows, the world of arts isn't, you know, all sweet and sugary. Like, you're gonna face a lot of difficulties, and especially financial ones if your works are not well known yet. And I think for a long time I was beating myself up for not choosing art as my career path, because I had these insecurities that made me think maybe I wasn't brave enough. Maybe I didn't take the risks. But now, how I see it now is I just had so many other things that I care about, and also the values that I hold, other than art. So it was just my choice. And I think also being an artist is a choice.
There are a number of things here. Number one is the environment that you are raised in, right? Examples, Timothée Chalamet, Billie Eilish, they both grew up under parents who were artists. So for them, it was not a crazy, courageous thing to do to become an artist. It was almost like a norm or an expectation to grow up as artists, because their direct parents had a life. Their entire family were artists and musicians. So that's kind of the norm they grew up in. But number two, I think it's also a societal structure thing, because it's, being an artist is not the most lucrative job out in the market. And there are a lot of risks that follow. only a few select people become chosen.
Right. It's a winner take all
Game.
structure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So some societal favorables, the fact that society doesn't favor artists as the most money-making job is a factor that plays.
Right.
And number 3 is, I think, just, as you said, character and interests. If I had so many interests, I wouldn't become artist as a default career choice. Like if I wanted to be an actress, but also a scientist and a politician and multiple things, I wouldn't just jump to artists, which requires a lot of commitment, I would say, right? Like there would be ways to choose one as a career and incorporate the other fields that I'm interested in, if they're easier to incorporate.
Then what do you think are ways to incorporate art in life? I thought of mainly 2 ways. The first one is to appreciate art, and the second one is to make art on your own or together. But I guess the third one could be art. Like, it's more of a mind level.
Amazing.
Story.
Consume art, produce art, or be art.
Yes.
That's amazing. Yeah. I think that pretty much is a very mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive way of explaining that.
Are you trying to become a consultant here?
No, an artist. But that's wonderful. Like appreciating art, making art, and being art. Let's talk about how we can appreciate art. Like, what are some ways to... So we've categorized that. The 3 ways of incorporating art is to appreciate, make, and be art. What are ways to appreciate art? I guess that's just the normal things that we do.
Yeah, I guess when I just hear the word, like hear the phrase appreciate art, I just see myself going to a gallery and then enjoying fine art. But if you think about it, me coming back from work and just opening up my laptop and watching Netflix series is also appreciating art.
Yeah, movie is art.
It is.
Cinematography.
It is so much more than art, like in our everyday life. So it's really hard to...
it's so accessible.
Yeah.
That... Because when you hear the word art, it feels like it has to be like going to the Louvre Museum or, going to the MoMA and appreciating Claude Monet's
Right, that's how
Water
people
Lily.
normally think when they hear the word art.
But literally, like Steven Spielberg's movie is art. You know how much time and effort it takes to create a movie. So like we are appreciating art every day via Netflix. So thank you, Netflix. But anyways, that's not the point. The point is like listening to music is art. Going to galleries, of course, is art. But I would say that reading a book is also appreciating art.
That's also true, yeah.
But if you think about it, like wearing the style choices you make, the makeup we wear,
Fashion,
makeup, cosmetics.
I love expressing myself through fashion.
Yeah, and I just Googled, but gastronomy, do you know what the definition of gastronomy is?
What is it?
It is the art of choosing, cooking, and eating good food. It's a form of art as well. So actually, I think a lot of people are incorporating art in our lives. It's just a matter of whether we recognize it as art or not, or if we recognize it as,
I think seldom we recognize these everyday arts in our lives.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, but once you realize it, you really see life as a blessing, I think.
That's so beautiful. The way you see that, the way you phrased it. Yeah, like every moment, every encounter with humans, everything you do is art.
Right.
Every moment is a blessing and a beautiful form of living.
That reminds me of the movie
Soul! Oh my